Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Bugwatch. I am your boy Swissley, and I'm here today to talk to you about one of my most favourite units in the Tyranid Codex. It is the Humble Ravener. Yes, with its 6 arms and all of its hands are swords. It's uppy downy, it's got a 10-inch move, it's very exciting. So let's get into it. With 42 attacks, the 6-man unit slaps like Chun-Li and E Honda. It will have about as many successful hits as a 6-man warrior unit on average, and potentially even more in Invasion Fleet if you take sustained into infantry. However, they are a little bit like Jake Paul in that they won't take a fight against anything really powerful because they're a scavenger. They love fighting grandparents, pensioners, and of course chaff. They can fight tough stuff, but you do worry that they won't survive the engagement. They are, however, one of the fastest units we have in the Tyranid book, and mixed with uppy downy, that makes this unit a massive rapid ingress threat and could be a huge surprise for your opponent. Now, we know everyone loves surprises, but there are some places that are no place for a surprise. For example, a toilet, a spaceship, or something more relevant to this conversation, your opponent's home objective. These are all places people hate to be surprised. Why not task your sword arm snake friends with being a surprise guest at your opponent's primary scoring party? You can prepare for this as well by putting your nerd brain into gear when you get the GT pack. You know that your opponent will likely stand behind walls or on objectives, so you can measure 9 inches away from there to find out where the peak spots are that you can make the most impact from. How do you do that? Well, let's put it into perspective. If you're 9 inches away, your movement is 10 inches, so you can already move 1 inch past your opponent's terrifying screen and then charge into something you'd actually like to murder. You can even go further if you play Vanguard Onslaught because you have the advance and charge, right? Pretty cool. This will enable you to get into something juicy that your opponent values, like a buffing character or a grandparent or pensioner. Now, they can just kill squeaky little squishy targets, but they can also surprise tough targets. A 6-man unit in Synapse with lethals in Invasion can stick a casual 25 saves on a vehicle at -1 AP, which isn't awful. And also, outside of Synapse, it'll do about 16, which again isn't bad. Now that's a 6-man unit. That's what they can do. Let's talk about a 3-man. Just like Blink-182, they are a decent 3-man unit. But also, just like Blink-182, they only really like going into all the small things, like doing 5 to 6 wounds to a 5-man aspect warrior unit, or 10 wounds to a unit of guardsmen-ish. Now, of course, if there is no opening for or juicy target for your cute spiky worms, don't be sad. Why not instead blue ball your opponent's rapid ingress by sticking 3 little snaky boys where they wanted to ingress their crazy strong unit, and now that crazy strong unit is sat in a canteen in space with a cup of tea and its balls or whatever appendages it has in its hand. Or how about scoring a secondary? These guys love a safe action or potentially rapid ingress onto an objective that hasn't entirely been screened. That would be cool. But you've got to be careful. They can fall over to a warm breeze. But what mid-sized bug in Tyranids doesn't do that in this edition. If Raveners get hit by anything remotely competent, they go from vertical to horizontal very quickly. For example, if you wanted to put them into Marines with 1 CP open for Armour of Contempt, how about you try not doing that? And while we're on the downside of Raveners, AP1 is disappointing, and I know what disappointment looks like. My dog gets disappointed when I don't give him any Domino's stuffed crust pizza. It's the same thing with AP1. There's no way to change it, and the Tyranid book offers no way to change that figure either. They will get some wounds through though, so why not try and pair them with some Ravener friends? For example, a phallic Blastoise or a crab that forgot to zip its brain flies up. Once they've took some wounds off the target, you can then chuck the Raveners in to finish the job and stand on their corpse and wave their knife hands around with absolute glee. I hope this has inspired you to get your stab snakes out of the cupboard and onto the board. I will catch you next time. Have a great